Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunthangar will not approve you. Now, if you're inclined to not come in, just enjoy watching this on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box, and I'll do my best to make your comments a part of the show. Now, understand, sometimes I can't get in myself. I can't get a word in myself. So be patient, and I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comments. And by the way, you can only make these comments or questions in the chat box during the live stream. So like I said earlier, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, if you find the Stunthangar Video Hangouts that I host or the many building videos that Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, please give us a thumbs up. I mean, that's a like. Subscribe, share the videos, and comments also help the Stunthangar YouTube channel grow. Please consider joining Stunthangar's YouTube channel memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And by the way, I'm also a member. I subscribe to the YouTube channel at $4.99. Excuse me. I subscribe at $4.99 a month myself. So I'm not asking you to do something that I'm not doing myself. And I even, do the show. So you can also use the super chat, which is located at the bottom of the chat box to make your donations. You can, and your support helps offset some of the expenses of running Stunthangar. Now, with your memberships, you'll get special badges in the YouTube chat box, I can notice, and so does Sparky, and unlimited replay of member-only videos. And once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show for members only. Now, this is Sparky's YouTube channel. I'm only in here twice a week, Monday and Friday nights. So if you want to get in touch with me, go to my YouTube channel at Flying Control Line Stunt. All the letters are there, even if they're repeated. And go to the 2019 AMA National Championships video, which is actually shot by Sparky with his camera, and I'm flying Sparky's Junar XL. So if you go there, I will receive a notification and I'll be able to respond to you quickly. I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words or do things you wouldn't say or do around your own children or grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm going to post a link that I did at Stunthangar Forum, so that's how you come into the space that I'm in. So the link is posted. Now I'm going to go to Sparky's YouTube channel and go into what I call the control panel and see what's going on there. Make sure it's streaming all right, and see how many likes I have and how many people are in the chat box and all that. So here we go. Now I'm in the studio and I see we're streaming and it looks like a good connection, excellent connection as a matter of fact. We have 5 concurrent viewers at this second and 5 likes. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Jack Snavely is the first one in the chat. He says, "Hello, Charles, and all else in the hangar or shop and around the world. Just saying hi, enjoy." He has these airplane emojis, and even a rocket too. So, and helicopter. So he has a lot of emojis. You have a lot more emojis than I have. Anyways, I hope everyone's doing fine. I hope everyone's doing well. And today's Monday, and Monday nights have been on par with Friday nights. I'm really happy about that, where it really doesn't matter which night you come in. And so we're up to 7 concurrent viewers, so we're growing there. And please, if you could, consider donating to the cause. Use the super chat or hit the join button. If you're watching us on YouTube, you see that join button, hit that. There's some perks with joining. You'll get the badges, and you'll get unlimited replay of member-only videos. Plus, it helps us. It helps us do this. So please consider joining, and subscriptions. All those things all help. And then, of course, the super chat, which is kind of like a one and done thing, where you can just do it, where the YouTube membership is a monthly subscription. Mine comes out somewhere on the 1st or 2nd of each and every month. And, it's only like $5. It's $4.99. I could spend that going to Starbucks. So, and I get a lot more information and enjoyment out of this than Starbucks. So anyways, I've been working on my SV11. I actually am not even flying anymore, so I'm not going to announce or talk about any flying, because, man, I am like up against the wall. This contest is a couple weekends away, and my plane's not even together. So I've stopped flying the other airplanes, and so it is crunch time. So I'm looking forward to showing up and showing out. So I'm really looking forward to it, but it's a little bit stressful. I know that I'm not alone. I think John Miller said he's in a similar situation. He had to wait on parts, and I don't know how far. Matter of fact, I'm going to ask him how far along he is on his SV11. He's building a IC SV11, internal combustion motor, and I'm building an electric. This is my first electric plane. So of course, there's some things that go along with anything you do for the first time. And so, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited. I had a warp in the wing, and with Joe, and look at this. Thank you so much, Jack Snavely. I appreciate that. Jack Snavely gave us a super chat, $5, and appreciate that. Boy, if we had lots of people doing a little bit, boy, that would be awesome. So anyways, where was I? So I had a warp in the wing, and with my friend Joe Mata, he came over today, and we straightened that wing out. Thanks to a suggestion by Tryon, he suggested I slice the trailing edge in half or split it, and I did that. I had to do other cutting too, but I got to relieve it, and I was able to move it and straighten out. This is really a matter of this particular plane just was not built right. I mean, it's not a warp like you would traditionally think, but this warp was really more of this a trailing edge. Either that itself warped by itself and everything else stayed the same, or they just put a crooked piece of wood as a trailing edge. Someone who built this plane, they probably wasn't thinking about them having to fly it. So, and it's going to go all the way to the US from wherever it was made. I don't know where it's made. So anyways, I ended up with a plane probably that was built on a Wednesday, right? So that's the plane I have. Anyway, so now I'm just entertaining the control system. It comes with 1-inch tall flap horns and 1-inch tall elevator horns. And I'm inclined to put a taller horn. I don't understand the departure, but I looked at the original SV11 plans today, and I don't have the measuring tool in my Adobe reader that I have installed right now. I normally have the professional Acrobat program, but so I couldn't measure it using the computer. But looking at the wheel on the main landing gear, that's 2 inches in diameter, and looking at the height of the flap horn, it looks like that flap horn is almost as tall as that wheel. So I mean, it's quite a contrast from the inch tall flap horn I have right now in the kit. So I'm going to put a taller flap and elevator horn in there. Of course, that's more modifications, and I'm actually going to make some things adjustable and removable. So I am really up against the wall here. So I'm not going to be in the after party for very much time at all. The time it takes me to edit up this video, and I will be in the garage working on that S311 until I get sleepy. Then I go to bed and wake up and do it again. I do work in the evenings besides this. This is one of my working nights. And so I hope to knock this thing out. Really happy with the, I made a access hatch for the KR governor. That's another modification I did. And I'm really excited and pleased with how that came out. I might grab it just to show everybody how it came out. I might even describe how I did that if anyone's interested. So, so I always modify planes. I don't know too many other people that don't modify their planes when they get it, unless they just really haven't built planes at all. And they just are happy to just be able to get onto the next part of the construction, where I'm thinking, oh, I want this and I want that. So I just can't resist modifying it. Besides, it's going to fly better, right? That's what we all think. That's why we do all these modifications, right? To make it fly better without too much of a weight penalty. That's another thing. You got to be careful with these modifications and doing stuff, because sometimes you end up adding more and more weight. Now, Sparky would be all on it for that's like a gram here and a gram there. It all adds up, Charles. I understand that too. So where is everybody? I'm pretty sure I posted the link in Stunthangar. Looks like it's there. Matter of fact, it's been read by one individual. It just has been read one time. And oh, tonight is Monday night. I wonder if there's some football fans out there. I know that last Monday, you don't know how tempted I was. I wanted to see the Ravens beat up on the what was that? That was the Colts, I think it was, right? That was a good game. Yeah, I'm becoming quite, and anyways, I'm gonna try to stick to model airplanes. I'll have to bring out the M&Ms. Oh, here we go. Saved by John Miller. Thank you very much, John. I appreciate it. So John Miller will be here shortly. And hey, John, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing, bud?
Doing well, man. Did you get your hair cut, or did you adjust your beard, or something that looks different?
Well, it's just, I haven't combed it out here lately. Needs to be combed out. It's all compressed. I'm thinking about trimming it some like I did last year, because it gets to this length, and it gets a little bit hairy.
I imagine it's a little
hey,
bit
did you
eating spaghetti? You can't lean over your table too.
Anything, eating anything. Sometimes I'm eating half my beard.
Yeah.
Whoa. Did you get your wing straightened out?
Yes.
It worked doing that slit?
Yes. Yeah,
Excellent.
Very excited about that. I actually did a little bit more than that slip, but that was really the beginning of the end of that warp, making that slit in there. I was able to move the pieces. So I essentially cut it in the stick into two pieces. The trailing edge was like about a 1/4 inch by 1/2 inch stick, the length of the wing panel. So by splitting it in half, I was actually able to reposition one that was too high up on the butt end of the ribs and move it down, and then of course the other one. So I essentially cut it in the stick into two pieces. The trailing edge was like a.
Now, let me get out
by half,
so I don't get the feedback.
Too late.
Too late. We got it.
Too late. Yeah, you was looping.
Yep,
That's
I
okay.
cut it off. I had to hit the like.
I figured that's what Sparky and I want to hear. Thank you very much.
That's
and by the way, hi Gary. Thanks
Hi.
for coming, Gary. And Mark.
Hey, Gary.
We were just talking about how he got his wing straightened out.
Yeah.
I was listening in a while ago. I was just filling out some paperwork, and that slit in the back sounded like just a wonderful idea. Huh?
Yes, I never ever heard of it before until Tryanne mentioned it, and it worked great. So I can't wait to share it with Tryanne. And I might grab it because I want to show some of the things I've done. I made an access hatch for the KR governor,
Yeah.
and I copied this from Dennis Adamison. So it's not my own idea. I got this idea from Dennis, but he inspired me to do that.
I like the KR governor. I put the KR governor in. It's very simple for, I'm new to this, plus new to electric. But once you get, I just copied in my phone the number of clicks and things like that to change the RPM and, to change the timer and stuff like that. So it's very quick. I would suggest just from the Vector that I built, it's a little smaller than the SV. But just make sure you have good access to the KR governor. Like you say, if you got a hatch, it's probably great to be able to unplug, your switch, because that's where your programmer little bar goes, is where your switch goes. So just make sure it's very easy to get in and out. I've Velcroed mine to the side, and I can just simply just take just move the Velcro a little bit and then plug it in, and you're back in action very quickly. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. That's a good idea. Yeah. Hopefully, with this access hatch, I'll be able to do all that. And it looks like Lynn is.
And
Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, yeah. Most of it, at least for what I read, and mine was the same way. I don't have a I can't get the word out. RPM, a tachometer. Yeah. To read RPM, but I believe that they come set around about 8,000 RPM.
Okay.
What ESC did you put in?
Oh, I think it's a KWT.
Okay, yeah. I had to do a little extra programming on my ESC because I got the Talon 35, which had a governor program. So I had to go in and kind of modify it so that the governor programs wouldn't fight each other.
Right.
And let the basically use the KR governor program, and once it starts up, it'll start, get your soft start going. It'll start up, it'll go up, and then the KR governor will transfer direct to the KR governor to whatever the last RPM it was set at.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if my ESC has governor programming or not. It might not. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Well,
but
I'm curious with Charles. How far are you along? And you got a hatch in here. You got the wing mounted, and
you got to grab it, man. Got to grab it and show us.
Yeah, I have to go grab it. I'm gonna wait till more people come in, but I have to go grab it. I am. Today, I mean, this evening, I was working on the push rod from the bell crank to the flap horn.
Oh, that's what I was doing.
Yeah, so I'm actually making a new one. I actually going to put a left and right hand thread on it. So like a turnbuckle. I'm going to do the same thing with the other push rod, one from the flap horn to the elevator. So the plane's going to be fully adjustable, especially with the removable canopy. And so that's kind of my plans. And I'm trying to keep an idea of how many mods I want to do and just kind of only make it absolutely necessary. Because like you and I, Jim, John, I mean, we're up against the wall, right?
Oh yeah, but I did get word that my engines are on their way back. They got mailed out this morning.
Oh, good. Oh, great.
So, plus the new one. So
that's good.
And I got my drill guide from
Jim Lee.
Jim Lee, yeah. And I got a bunch of other stuff. I'm still having to get some more stuff in because they sent the wrong stuff. But I got the two wing halves joined today. I spent 2 days working in there, getting everything out of there. I think I have the bell crank cleared, and I put it together. It looked good. I go to pull it up, oh, come on, where is that? So I went and found out where it was at, got it trimmed out of there, and now it's just real smooth. But
that's what I got to do. I got to do that to get it to clear. Especially, I'm adding a carbon fiber, tube for the push rod.
Yeah,
I'm not using the wire that it came with, which is less less chance of it bumping into something. So
Well, I'm using the wire and I'm using a straight pull through with a retainer for the flat push rod. And then there's an old trick because I'm making the wing removable and I'm also making the stab and rudder removable. So I can put it, I've got the wing joined. I didn't want to mess with that, but there's an old trick. I used it on the Pathfinder 40. Ching. But what you do is you bring off your flap horn or flap push rod, not flapper, the elevator push rod coming to the flap horn. You just make a right angle turn with a wire there. Instead of using
A Z-bend.
well, it's not a Z-bend, it's a straight through. And here's the reason for it. You've got a key that you put in that, so when your wing is down in position, that I always try to keep the key going to the outside of the circle, or not the key, but and so that you've got centrifugal force keeping it there. But also the key blocks it for me to come out far enough, if it should, to disconnect. So when you remove the wing, you lift the back of the wing up and then it opens up, and now you got like a box there, not a box, but a opening. You just pull the elevator horn out, remove the wing completely. You don't even have to have a connector on that angle. It's just up,
okay.
pull out.
Wow.
And now you can remove the wing, and then back in the back, I'm gonna have some positioning dowels. I'll put a piece of plywood that'll go into. You put the positioning dowels, and you have a one or two. One is usually enough. You got the positioning dowels. 440 bolts going up and set it up into a threaded insert in that little piece there that the rudder mounts onto.
Mm-hmm.
And so you set it in place, and you screw. I don't want to have to come through the bottom, so I'm working out a way where I can come in from the top. So I may have to play with that a little bit, but that's the whole idea. So that everything's down and flat, so it'll take very little room in my car, or in a box. I'm thinking about if I ever was to transport it to go to a contest, whatever, I just give me one of those snowboard cases, because they don't even look at you funny when you load a snowboard in an airplane.
Oh, very cool.
Well, I'd like to see that when it's done, John.
I was gonna say, why don't you show us a show and tell if there's time to show us how it comes apart and what you did. That'd be a great show and tell.
Yeah, I plan on doing that. Probably should be taking some pictures up.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if you did that too.
Yeah.
Hey, Lynn, thanks for coming in, Lynn. And Tryon, I see your car, and I know you're in the garage. So thank you, Tryon, for coming in. So how you doing? How you guys doing?
We're doing good. Or I'm doing good. I don't know about Tryon, but I'm doing fine.
I'm working.
All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's great. I appreciate that. Yeah, Tryon, that slit worked excellent, my man.
What?
That slit in the trailing edge worked awesome. I know. That's what Joe said. Joe had said, what Tryon's gonna do? Tryon's gonna go, yeah, well, what else? Ice?
You are welcome. I'm happy that you have a good wing, and hopefully you're gonna see that thing in the air.
Yes,
perhaps faster than you can build a whole stunt ship.
Yes,
slightly faster.
Hey, Walter, thanks for coming in. And Dennis, I know I've called you at least twice today. Thank you for still coming in after I've called you twice already.
Hey, Charles.
After I called what's up, Lynn?
Mike should be scared now.
Oh, I don't know, because you know what? I still have to put the plane on some lead outs, and it's not even finished yet. So
that's not a big deal. You'll be fine. You're gonna make it now.
Yeah, I know. I got like 2 weekends left, I think.
It's all good.
Yeah. I'm hoping to have mine done by Friday.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I'm shooting for that myself. I want to
Yeah,
ask you a question, John. I was going to call you actually because I talked to Mike Dennis, and I was just curious. Are you going to use the 1 inch flap horn and the 1 inch elevator horn that came with the kit, or was you going to change that?
I'm changing the flap horn, but I'm going to use the one that came with the kit for the elevator.
So, what length, what height is that flap horn going to be?
It's going to be I want to have about 27 to 30 degrees flap and about 33 to 35 degrees of elevator.
So that
And
translates to like 1.25 inches or 1.5 inches.
I'd have to sit down and do it, figure it out. I haven't figured that yet. But the thing is, I'm not a proponent of 50-50 unless you got a real heavy airplane. You know, it just I know a lot of people over the years have done it, but I think I've done it with just 27 degrees of flap on a Pathfinder to 33 degrees of elevator, and it's always done me well.
Yeah, I've been flying an Impact, and it does not have very much elevator at all. I mean, it's probably 25 degrees. It's not a whole lot. You don't need a whole lot.
It
all
just
depends. You don't.
it just adds drag, Charles.
Yeah.
If you look about any videos that are there for with cameras on board the plane,
Yeah.
you never see those surfaces deflecting more than 10 degrees.
Yeah.
Right.
I saw the one that Shug did, Shug Emery. And as a matter of fact, I think it was a Strega, and you could see the control surfaces, and it wasn't very much. And you saw him doing the whole sun pattern.
Yep, on 15 degrees, if that.
Yeah.
There was an Australian fellow. I've talked about him in the past. He built a special type of a bell crank that he could infinitely adjust from 0 to 45 degrees on his flaps and elevator. He could adjust them separately. And so he had a little hatch in the bottom he could take off, and he had a little cruciform thing went across it, and he could set up the amount of throw that they had. He found out that 7 degrees of flaps, at least on his airplane, was plenty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what I think is just worth experimenting with is the distance from the bell crank's pivot point to the connection rod to the flaps.
You're right.
I think what we're using right now, it's way too much.
You're right.
And what happens is that because you have slack in the lines, I mean, you still move a lot in that, but the lines are having a little bit slacky, right? And because of the forces, the high forces that are on the flaps, you don't put enough pressure on a push rod to deflect the flaps, actually. You might do this and that with your hand, but the flaps are gonna just do a little bit, right? Like that. Now, I think if you would be worth maybe considering getting that attachment point about 3/4 of an inch instead of like the typical, what's that, 9/16 or something like that. I don't know what it is. It's almost an inch, right?
Huh?
Kind of like that. I think 5/8,
7/8 or something like that.
No, it's more than 7. It's something. There was one of Wendy's video, kind of the
15/16.
Huh?
Okay, that's just almost
15/16.
15/16. So it's almost an inch, right?
Yeah,
Right.
that's Wendy's. That's what Wendy used. 15/16. That's
Yeah.
what I use on all my airplanes.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying is that maybe if we go to 3/4 instead of that, you have about 25% more push force, right? Which will deflect the flaps, will actually deflect the flaps to make the plane turn and stuff like that. So going back to what you guys just said, on my one of the latest setups on my plane that I had on a plane, I was playing with a lot of different setups, right? What I ended up doing, I ended up maxing up the expo on it, which means the bearing was very close to my the bearing got very close to the control triangle. Let me see if I can find one here quickly. And so I had basically what happens. What does that mean? I had a lot of mechanical advantage, right? Because when the ball is very close to this point, when you move, when you deflect the flaps, you have a lot of the control triangle. You have a lot of mechanical advantage.
Yeah.
And the flaps was also close to the opposite side. So to me, like any little input that I would give it, it got to the flaps actually. It was not like rubber banding like in a control lines because of the pressure from the aerodynamic pressure. I was using mechanical advantage to actually deflect them. Like brute force kind of thing, like put your car in a lower gear and then just power through, right? And it's going to move, right?
Exactly. Right.
So that's what I'm thinking. It's kind of right now it's set up too high of a gear, and you need a lot of effort on a control triangle to. That's why they moved to the 4-inch cranks, because you have more mechanical advantage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And but I think we're missing the boat over there. I think it would be worth trying a 3/4 inch crank. I think you could probably notice a lot more power on your control horns. On your control surfaces. And
when I started flying here in Salt Lake, I immediately hooked up with Gordon Delaney, and he showed me a neat little trick that has worked. It worked every time we tried it. At that time, we weren't using 4-inch bell cranks. They weren't that much in, there weren't that many of them around. So we were using a SIG 3-inch bell crank. And the whole deal was you drilled a new hole, just dotting the I on SIG, because right above the pivot point they'd have SIG, and so you just dotted the I. That was and then you cut off the rest of the bell crank beyond it, so you didn't have it running into anything or whatever. But that was a 3-inch. We got a lot of mechanical advantage out of that because it was very low geared, like you mentioned. And what happens is that you got the power to make, you got your power to make the maneuver, but you don't bounce your controls much, like in a windy day on a level flight, and then it starts hunting or going into PIOs and that kind of thing. So
it's also docile around neutral and in the loops is friendly.
Yes, exactly. And when I went to a 4-inch bell crank, I figured out about my distances, my lengths, and I came up with it. So I had the same effect as I did with the SIG, as far as the amount of
It's the second.
get right to you, lad. As I get the same amount of control pressure or control leverage, but it was better. It was smoother than that with a 4-inch bell crank. So that's where I've gone. I'm not using the log setup, though I'm playing around with one. Go ahead, Leonard.
Yeah, I
So
apologize.
here you go.
It wasn't 15/16, it's 13/16.
Oh, 13.
13.
Just
13,
under 3/4.
just under 3/4.
Under
Did that real good.
Yeah, a
They
16th
go to
under
half
a
an
six.
inch then,
Yeah, a 16th under 3/4.
So can I share what I'm using right now?
All right,
Yeah,
then-
let Mark say
Well,
something here. He
then
went.
Mark has
I was
something
just-
too. Hang on now, Lynn.
Just
Hang on,
to
Mark.
confirm, this is the distance you guys are talking about?
Yeah.
From
Yes.
here to here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now turn that over.
Perfect.
There should be SIG written on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, this one is. Yeah.
And you
So
see
what are
right-
the two distances on that bell crank, center to center?
All right, let me get a ruler.
Okay.
Are you saying there's a differential also between the flap throw and the elevator?
Yeah, you can set that up if you set the lengths of the flap horn and the elevator horn, and where the elevator push rod takes off of the flap horn.
what is there a combination, a number combination that's
Well,
makes
there
sense?
are, but I tell you what, my mind isn't working tonight. I couldn't tell you, but it's about 1.25 inches to the top hole for the flap off the belt crank, and it's about 1 inch on the elevator going back, and you can then adjust the elevator between inch to or take it down if you want a little slower elevator. You can take it down to, I think the lowest one is a 1/2 inch, though I've never flown one there. But so yeah, okay. Did that answer your question, Walter?
Well, I'm still trying to learn. I'm not even sure if I know how to ask the question too. Does the flap, are you saying that the flap needs more degree of change than the elevator?
Less.
No,
Flat.
It's just
The other way-
reverse?
it's the other way around.
Okay,
In
the
my
elevator goes up 30 degrees, for example, and the flaps only go down 20 degrees.
Yeah, that's a good approximation.
Okay.
And it's all figured. You know how to do ratios,
Well, I know what a ratio is.
but do you know how to figure that mathematically? The question is, X is to 5/8. That'd be your
Oh,
pivot.
yeah, I can work it that way.
Yeah.
So what's
Yeah.
the ratio?
Well, the ratio, I actually don't know what the ratio is. I always do it, the X is to such as what is Y is to, and by figuring those two out, you wind up with the other distance you need.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the distance was 5/8 and 7/8, guys. I'll just stick that in
Okay.
there.
Yeah, and I
Cool.
think we wound up drilling that new hole where it was about 9/16 or thereabouts.
You want to dot that I, right? Isn't that right, John?
Yeah.
And that,
You said
Yeah,
3/16, I thought.
Pardon?
No? The hole on that 4-inch bell crank should be, so I thought somebody said 3/16.
No, that's
earlier we
way.
had 13/16 earlier.
13.
I'm sorry,
13/16.
13/16.
That's what
yes.
Wendy uses, but that's not what I use.
Yeah, there's different people use different measurements. I mean, Paul Walker in the article, I think on the impact, he had a specified measurement he used. I can't remember what it was, but on the SV11, I actually measured. I was curious, and I just did an approximation because the bell crank is in a position where I could just kind of guesstimate, but it's around 3/4 inch. So hearing Tryon saying he recommended 3/4 inch, I'm kind of excited because that's exactly where, or pretty close to exact to where I measured the pivot point on the SV11 that I'm building right now.
If that's a typical bell crank, maybe I'll go less than that. Maybe try a 5/8.
The thing is you can go two ways. You can leave that where it's at and go taller on your platform. Just
Okay.
as long as you get the same ratio, and that's why I'm going with a with a bell crank or a flap from Oki Air, one of the Tom Morris ones with it corrected as well, because it's a taller horn. So I can keep the ratio slower. I'm one of those guys, I don't like to have a real touchy plane out on the end of the line.
Right. So, Walter, do you have any questions on what we were talking about, Walter?
Oh, hell yes. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sorry about that.
But you know what? You're not alone. I mean, when I first
came into
started,
the conversation late. I'm sorry.
okay.
Okay.
I get the impression that the flap doesn't go the same percentage as the elevator.
But it can.
It
It
doesn't.
depends on what you want.
Some people
Right.
I like 50/50. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like them the same. I like them 50/50, but it's everybody has an opinion on this.
Okay.
Right.
I like 50/50 and I like 13/16 on the bell crank. That's what
Okay.
Wendy used and that works for me. But
Yep.
it doesn't mean it'll work for everybody. Everybody's different. Everybody's hand is different. Everybody controls their airplane different. I fully understand that.
Yep.
All right.
I agree with you.
I got a report. I need to report in on something though. And when you're ready. I don't
So
want you
this
to
is
subject
kind of
that.
the,
Okay.
Charles, can you make this big?
Yeah.
All right.
Hang on 1 second. Make you spotlight for everyone. There you go.
So I think this is kind of the setup I'm running right now. If you see the bearing is very close to this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what happens, I have mechanical advantage here, right?
Okay.
So when it tries to
slack.
move, that's kind of what happens over there, right?
Okay.
And obviously it accelerates it, it gets farther out, but as you can see on the arm itself, is not a whole lot of movement, right? See that?
Wow.
And on the arm, my flaps is set up to about this spot here. So if you know, it's not much movement over there. Okay, so I have a lot of mechanical advantage. Look at the distance from here to there,
Yeah. Well,
and look at
also
the distance from here to the center.
look at the distance you got from your pivot point of your belt crank to where you're contacting that bearing. That's where your
Yeah,
power is
it's
coming
very
from.
short.
That's where your power is coming from.
It's a lot of power in here, right? And also look at the distance from here to here, because
Yeah.
that's the arm that actually moves and pushes the moves the push rod, right?
Right. You're
So it's a lot
multiplying-
of mechanical advantage here. So it's here. It's a lot of mechanical advantage here. It's doubled and tripled from here to here, right?
Yeah. You're
So when I
multiplying.
give it some input, it's a lot of force going that way.
Yes, but around neutral, your amount of movement is slowed down, which is what you want.
Yeah, it's very soft. See, look at it. You can move it quite a bit, and then just like the arm is not moving much, right?
Right.
And
No.
when you
When
do
you
a
go all
loop,
the
you know,
way-
you have good control over it. Now, when you want to turn, boom,
Yeah.
it just shoots.
Yep.
Right. But the long story short is like I have a lot of mechanical advantage because it's from here to here. It moves the bearing, but look where the pivot point is compared to the bearing.
Right.
It's an inch and a quarter at least, if not an inch and 3/8, and an application point is somewhere over here,
Yeah.
not even an inch out from this pivot point. So I'm multiplying the mechanical advantage on this thing.
Well, I sure like that setup. I'm
Huh?
working on one that's a little bit different than the flaps will be driven from the center of the flaps.
Yeah.
Out
So
the
the
way.
thing is like what I would like to do, I would like to eliminate the bearing here. I would like to eliminate all this setting stuff, because once I find out something I really like, I can remake all of these parts with the specific setup that I have in it.
Yeah.
And
Because
this
that's
whole thing
adjustable,
is going to be basically eliminated and made lighter, because this system it's pretty heavy. I mean, it's not exactly light. It weighs like I think the whole thing weighs about 2 ounces or so, a little bit over 2 ounces. But
Yeah.
that's pretty heavy.
that's all of this mess in here, right?
Yeah.
That being said, you know, I'm not hurting for weight.
No.
Great.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not hurting for weight or anything like that, because
You make up for it everywhere else.
Well,
Yeah.
he's got a very light airplane. to begin
Yeah,
with.
you were at like 53 ounces, right, Tryon? At your last airplane?
no, it's
53, 54?
58 and a half, 59.
It's all good.
Yeah, but that's 710 square inches.
That's a lot of wing.
Yeah, his wing loading is, you know.
Amazing. Hey, Carl, thanks for coming in.
Hi, Carl. Banjo man's
Oh,
back.
see.
Hey, you sound like a banjo player,
Yeah,
Carl.
banjo again.
Yeah.
You
So
guys,
guys, I'm just gonna, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna experience some radio silence because I'm
No
gonna make
problem.
some noise, and
I understand.
I'm
Appreciate
working
that.
on my,
Thanks for using your system. Thank you, Tryon. I'm gonna catch
this
up on the
is-
chat.
I'm molding
trying
a
to-
part right now, so that's what I'm doing.
I'm gonna read the chat box here. Mark Lumen, I know this is behind. I'm way behind because you're right inside here, but you're saying here, be there just a moment. Hit the like. Thank you very much, Mark. Then Marcel Legrand says, evening, Charles and everyone. Well, good evening, Marcel. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate that. And then Dennis says, hi, everyone. thanks for so much info. Q lower line drag is more tension at handle. I'm not sure what he's talking about. Then Mike Lonkey, he goes, ain't scared, Lynn, and he has a emoji. He was laughing so much that he's tearing. He's like, he's not scared at all.
Carter, Charles,
yeah,
don't put a streamer on the back of your airplane.
I won't, because he might try to cut it off.
No mic, there's no mic about it.
And then Dennis says the farther the push rod moves, then the less pushed flex makes a difference. So he had, let me read this again. The farther the push rod moves, and in parentheses, he has increased both horns, and then close of the parentheses, and then the less pushed flex makes a difference. Anyways, which Dennis, that wasn't you, Dennis, I had a mission, right? That was another Dennis. Dennis, what's your last name, Dennis? I don't know what your last name is. I know I have a Dennis Adamison in here, and I know of a Dennis Nunes, and there are probably other Dennises, but it'd be great to know, even if you just want to supply your initials, that'd be appreciated. Anyways, we're back, you guys. Yeah, that bell crank that Tryon shows is just
Phenomenal.
I tell him it's cheating. It's so sophisticated. It's cheating.
Yeah, none of us can make one, so we don't have any hope.
Yeah.
So it's cheating. I mean, it's so adjustable. You can adjust the throw. You can adjust all kind of things. It's just amazing.
Like an automatic transmission. Yeah.
It's like being able to adjust your food after you've eaten it.
Yes. That's a good one, Lynn. Oh yeah, that thing is not fair. But you know, life's not fair. It's okay. I mean, if I could do that, trust me, I would do that.
That's called bulimia.
Well, I will say this: there are still pilots. Excuse me. There are still pilots out there who use the old systems, and some of them on any given day may just kick your butt with all the fancy stuff.
Yeah, you still have to fly the plane.
That's
True.
what I'm counting on.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, you guys scare me though sometimes. I must be getting old. I used to think I could get by just on raw talent. Now I'm starting to question myself.
It's called self-awareness.
Yeah. There was a day when I thought, come on, I don't need any of that stuff. Well, now I'm going, maybe I do.
Practice. Who needs practice? You know?
That's right. I can just
Patience and
play.
treachery.
Oh man. Yep.
Well, let me go grab that fuselage. I can show you the access hatch that I made. I'll be right back.
I'm wondering what Denny's been doing lately. Denny Adamis. What you been doing, Denny?
Hope you noticed I was on mute because I had not much to talk about.
Oh, okay.
I've been started working on that transport box for trying to get my airplane to Las Vegas, and I haven't done. And I keep everything's been revolving around that. A lot of things going on with the grandkids and whatever. My foot's finally healed up now that the contest season is over, and whatever.
Be ready for next year.
Got a lot of things. I think I'm going to be finishing some stuff. I do have one little toy to show off for this. Well, maybe I'll wait till it's installed. Yeah.
Oh, you're a tease. You are a tease.
Yeah, something like that. It doesn't mean anything.
I've never seen anybody walk up a wall like that.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah, Joe.
Gonna show you. He's gonna stand on the wall and fly.
Well, that works for about half a circle, if you're flying level out, you do one big wing. There's a story Giordini told me about one of the world championships. The guys were in this, I believe it was a world championship, or he thought it was a Nats. But they were in this hotel up, several stories high. And they started up an airplane, guys in one room down far enough so they could do it. And they launched him straight down. And he was flying, parallel to the side of the building.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
You're all right. As long as you don't go to the other side of the circle, you're cool.
Well, as long as you don't try to do an outside to inverted, you got to do all you do. You got to be inside from level flight.
Yeah, you got to keep the airplane out in front of you. If it gets behind you, it isn't going to be behind you. It's going to be schmuck.
No, they flew it, Lenny. They flew it like this all the way around and all the way back.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's cool. I fully get it.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got half the circle literally to fly.
No, you got a whole circle. From
No, you still only have half a circle because
half a
everything else
hemisphere.
half a hemisphere. Yes. Yeah, okay, to be technical, yes, you're right. Half a hemisphere. Yeah, you're right.
Just like we got when we're standing on the ground.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
exactly. It's just you.
You can't go to the other hemisphere.
That's right. It's still the same thing. You can't get into the other hemisphere.
Yep. Same thing happens.
The furthest I've ever got into the other hemisphere is about 6 inches.
You went that deep? Tell me that wasn't
down,
a
right?
lightweight airplane, was it?
Oh my God. And you know what? It always involves either mud or asphalt. I don't know why.
Well, I remember putting a hole in the asphalt with my spinner.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No. It really ruins an aluminum spinner too.
Oh yeah. Not to mention everything else behind it.
Well, if it hadn't have been for the spinner, everything behind it would have been even worse.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Oh my gosh.
Plastic spinners don't help at all.
No.
I'm having trouble finding something. I need to find a spray bar for a Brodak 40, and nobody's got them.
Brodak doesn't have any?
I need to find spray bars because every time I go inverted, somehow
Whack.
that ends up in the part of the hemisphere that I don't want to be at.
Yep.
And
Try
the thing that's sticking out is that little bar right there,
yeah.
which is the needle valve, and it gets bent and it bends up the
Oh yeah.
You're flying
So-
that on a profile?
I've got
You're flying that on a profile?
yeah, I'm flying it to pieces.
Here's a little
Put it
trick.
in the
you
other
can
way.
do. Here's a little
Yeah,
trick to do. Right on the top of the fuselage, right, in line looking from the spray bar to the fuselage, you make a little oval out of wire, out of, like 1/8 to 3/16 wire. And you glue that in. What that does, it protects your needle valve when you go in inverted.
Yeah, you can use a coat hanger. I've used a coat hanger before too to do that.
So I'm glad to know that other people are having the same problems I'm having. Okay, I've got 4 engines and no spray bars.
We've all been there.
Yeah. So
So
you're
I
like
went
we
through
were.
3
You learned
now.
slow too.
Do you guys want to have a show and tell?
No busted needle bells.
Well, we
hang
got Denny is going to show something. We just started talking while he's going to get it, so we probably should let him.
on,
do
let me
his-
make it big, Danny.
Yeah, I gotta change my background here.
Yeah.
All right, you guys have seen, different iterations of this along the way. This is just the latest one that I have to do. And this is the mount that lets you put an electric motor on a set of beam mounts.
Wow.
Oh, for cool.
All right, and then working with my brother Dave, he's the designer, printer, everything like that. The front mounted motor, but it also has a bearing on the back of the motor, so it's totally supported. And what that does actually is when you support the motor at both ends, it takes almost all of the bending load, all the bending stress out of the firewall part of the mount, front of the mount.
Right.
Okay. But even then, we thought it was good for both the cooling and the durability of the mount to go ahead. I'm going to chop off about this much of the nose of the
Raise it up, Denny.
vest.
Raise it up so you can see it. There we
Cut
go.
off this much of the front of the fuselage. All right. So when I bolt that down, what I got here is a perfectly developed air scoop.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So it's going to cool like crazy when is it on there?
Oh, that is super.
Well, anyhow.
When I
Very
get
nice.
building something, I'm gonna have to talk to your brother. I like that.
Yeah.
That's
That's
cool.
great.
Turn aside. Okay.
So yeah, it's a 2-inch, or excuse me, 1 3/4 inch spinner. It's got like an 1/8 inch, ring all the way around
To let air through.
draw the air in.
That is
And,
awesome.
push it right into the front of the motor. Okay. So, whoops. So it all should cool like crazy. And of
Yeah.
course, the other side of the cooling equation is venting it out the back, which is pretty straightforward. So
Yeah. Yeah.
let's see. These are the same bolt. This fits the engine mount bolts that are in the airplane, and we decided since there was extra length in the mount and everything like that, there was no compelling reason why I couldn't just add a set of holes up front to help support the front of the mount just a little bit better. Take
Yeah.
a little more stress off it. So it's actually a 6-bolt mount, which is probably at least two too many, but
Oh, no, it's a racing mount. Yeah.
Are you saying that mounts to traditionally a combustion engine mount?
yeah, it mounts to a profile fuselage, bolts to the side of the fuselage. The motor drops
Okay.
down. The motor drops down in the gap between the mounts.
That's
Okay.
pretty cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, I
It's a
see the
great
offset
conversion
now.
then, right?
And you will never break a needle valve with this. All right.
Don't worry, don't worry.
Oh, good Lord.
Find something to break.
That was for you, Lenny.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Denny. That was awesome. It took me a minute to figure it out. I had to think about it. I'm thinking, well, how does that protect the needle valve? Oh my God. Oh,
I
there's
really
no
like
hope.
that, Denny.
Age is killing me.
Yeah.
Hey, Denny, is that
And take it off for round 2, fly it with the IC motor, and put the fuel tank in my battery box. And at least in theory, it's all possible to do. Although I really don't ever expect to do that. But anyway, I'm pretty excited about it.
Pretty
Yeah.
neat.
Dave knocked himself out putting this thing together, and a lot of design work went into that. Of course, he prints stuff like crazy. He's the one that supplies the mounts to Tom Morris and now to Oki Air. At that time, he did a plastic mount business in the first place, and then when Oki bought that up, he continued making them for that. But Tom still builds airplanes and stuff. And all of his electrics feature Dave's printed mount. So he's made. I'm not sure where his count is, but I think he's up over 600 mounts that he's made for for people.
Wow.
Anyway, I just had an idea. If you were to that piece of aluminum at the rear of the motor, if you were to extend that out and put some little fins on that, you could have an actual flow type setup with a powered fan on the back that would help draw the air even more if you ever had any problems cooling. But I don't think you will with that.
Yeah, we've had some good luck in the past by just cutting off the nose of the spinner and ramming it through the front, and then through the cooling holes in the back. And it'll actually cool off the motor usually. But of course, that annular ring concept really works well. So
It does.
yeah, there's lots of options for cooling the motor. So
That's
the
a
other cool
neat
thing
setup.
about that is that you can put a smaller motor in it and just use the full. This is actually the regular prop adapter that bolts on the one end of the motor. You use that and flip it off, and it goes into a ball bearing in the back. They had to clip it off so it wouldn't stick out too far. But I'm anticipating I might even fit it up with the next size smaller motor because I need a big one. I might need to get rid of some of those ones. So
That'd make a great mount for a twin.
makes a great mount for anything that built with a profile fuselage. But you can actually also take that same mount, of course, roll it over and bolt it on a regular set of beam mounts and a regular fuselage. Although it's going to require some mods,
Bloody
to
marvelous.
get the whole ring in there and stuff like that. But again, not a big deal. You can get there from here. And he has also made them without the big cooling ring on it. But I think I showed that off earlier this year when I was flying in that Nobler last year. Was made that way where it didn't have the big ring or anything on it. And to be blunt, that motor ran hotter than we like, and wasn't able to cool it down. That's part of the reason we drove to make this thing so cooling would absolutely not be an issue. And I think he's achieved that.
Most definitely.
So
Well, fine business.
I'm sorry.
I said, fine business. That's a good on you, Mike.
That's a good on him, actually. Although, actually, the first model of this style to mount a outrunner on a regular set of mounts, I designed one and cut it out of plywood, not light ply. Had it laser cut out of plywood, and it would work. But about sometime around then, Dave started messing around with the 3D printing and stuff, and it's like, hey, there's a better opportunity here. So
If I ever get into electric, I'll need a 50 pack of those.
That's funny.
Oh my God.
I think if you get into electric, the earth will stop moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Hey
see.
guys, let me interrupt because I actually think Tryon wanted to say or show us something.
Okay.
We didn't give him a chance to do that.
No, I thought was doing some.
You're muted, Tryon. I thought he wanted to.
I want to
They
show
want to
how I mold the part.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, this is in particular, this is the outboard elevator, and it's already painted and stuff like that. So,
Are you using that foam in a sandwich of that?
yep.
Okay.
So what I did here, I just mix up my epoxy and I put a little bit of cabo seal in it, but it's not the whole thing. Most of the epoxy is still in here mixed up. So what I'm doing, I'm just doing a just super thin coat of cabo seal with the epoxy. Cabo seal is just a modifier for epoxy. What it does, it just thickens it, right?
Right.
All right.
So this is going to be like a super, I mean, not even paper thin. I mean, you should see thinner than that. Coat of cabo seal with epoxy. And actually, it's the same epoxy I'm using to laminate. So.
Oh yeah, that is thin. You haven't loaded that little roller up the whole time you're doing that.
Yeah, and it's also kind of like what it does. Most of the time the roller is going to soak in a lot of epoxy, but if you have this thicker stuff on the outside, it's not going to soak up so much. So it's a little bit better on that. So this is the first step. After that, what I do, I just take my pieces and I just lay them now inside like this.
Now you've pre-cut those, right?
Yep. It's all pre-cut.
Oh, is that unidirectional carbon fiber?
Yeah, it's
Oh yeah.
That's it. Yep.
it's So now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna dump the epoxy in here. This is the thin epoxy, right? So this, I'm in lamination mode right now. So just get a little bit of epoxy on the roller and just roll it in. And this goes pretty quick.
You're actually pushing that down onto the mold part too, on the mold, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's a whole lot
Phenomenal.
easier than whittling out a stab out of a piece of balsa.
Yeah, but all the work is done prior to that, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Making that mold.
Making the molds, prepping the material, but not even the material is not too much, because what you do, you just, you know, basically you take the, it's just cutting a piece like this with a template. It's super easy, you know, you just do it. All right, so now I have a piece of unidirectional that I like to put on the outside here on the trailing edge. I'm just gonna use like a brush a little bit of epoxy here on the trailing edge. So I'm trying to move relatively quickly. Actually, you don't want to just stay here and wait forever, you know, to do stuff. So here's one piece. If you don't get it right, you just lift it up and just put it back again.
Was that a 30-minute epoxy or hour epoxy? What is that?
No, this is this is MGS epoxy. It's used on aircraft, and it's actually the only epoxy that's approved for aircraft use, real aircraft. It has very low viscosity, very hard when it hardens. It's UV proof, or pretty much anything and everything that you would ever want to have from one epoxy that you use for this kind of application. So right now, I'm not really worried that I put a little bit more extra resin in there. It's
My
no big
question
deal.
is, how much working time do you have with that epoxy? Half an
So
hour?
right now, yeah, the working time is 1 hour.
Okay.
So I have plenty of working time, even though this whole thing just takes a few minutes. Once you get started, I mean, just like now I'm started, right? So I think we are down in it, maybe what, 5 minutes, if that, right?
Right.
So it's not exactly a long time. And yeah, right now I'm just gonna push it down in a corner there. Okay. So basically I'm done with a carbo wave. This is all the carbo wave is gonna take. Just make sure I have plenty of epoxy there on the leading edge and push it down in there so it's gonna stay nicely. All right, so that's the carbo wave, right? Now, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put some trailing edges in here. And sometimes what I like to do, I just like to take the brush and let's do it here. All right, you guys see that?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just moving camp here. So I'm just getting the resin in here. And this is a lamination. This is unidirectional with a fiberglass on the other side. You see it?
Yeah.
The difference?
I
So
see
the
that.
cool part of this is, like, as I brush the resin into it, which is what I'm doing right now, I can see that I penetrated all the way through by just flipping it over. So when I flip it over, you can see, you see that?
Yes.
You can see what's done and what's not done. So you can just go on this side now and try to put a little bit more pressure and stuff like that, and make sure everything is just nice and wet. Right?
Wet. Yep.
Yep. And so, and actually right now you get an idea how much time it actually takes to mold a part. And most of them are just, except for different sizes, it's about the same amount of time, whether you do a fuselage part or something else. So here you go. All right, I'm gonna turn this around. Just give me a second. Here, you back with me? See it?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. And this is what's gonna make my trailing edge, right? The trailing edge. So all the fibers go. Basically, the carbon takes the load, which goes in this direction, and the fiberglass also takes the other load in the other direction, like for the fabric. So to have some kind of continuity in there. Okay. All right.
Wow.
So this is one. Okay. I'm gonna do the other one right now. This is the other piece. This is gonna go on a trailing edge of the stabilizer. There was a trailing edge of the elevator, leading edge of the elevator. Same thing. Sorry about that. I'm gonna be behind here because I need to move quick.
Okay.
So, okay. So now I'm doing same thing, same exact thing, only just gonna be the trailing edge of the stabilizer, the horizontal stabilizer, if you think like that. Am I thinking correct? I mean, I'm thinking horizontal stabilizer, and I'm thinking elevator as the two parts of the whole thing, right?
Yeah, you're working on the trailing edge of the stabilizer and the leading edge of the elevator.
Yeah.
I get it. That's good.
Yeah. So just a few more seconds. I'm gonna be done with this. So another idea of the fiberglass to laminate this carbon fiber with fiberglass is to stop it from splitting, right? Because the uni doesn't have any strength in a splitting direction. It wants to split open, and the fiberglass stops it from doing that. So that's the idea here. I'm gonna turn this thing around because I cannot see what I'm doing as everything is bad. Okay, it's no problem. You can always just pull it out and just put it back in. As long as you don't do it too many times. I mean, just 1, 2, 3 times, it's fine. But then after that, you just abuse the material because the material doesn't want to stay there. Once you wet it out, the binder kind of breaks down. So the binder is what keeps this the fibers kind of close in place to the proper size. And sometimes like this, look, I have something that's a little bit long. That's no problem. I have some scissors handy. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna clip off some of it. And just, that's it.
Tryon, that carbon fiber with the fiberglass backing, did you make that or did you buy it like that?
No, I made it. It's very simple to make something like that. So, yep. All right, so here we go. So now I have everything. I'm gonna do the spar. So the spar, I have a dot over here, a punch over there, and a punch over here on the center. So I know exactly where my spar is gonna go. And I'm putting the spar right now because I want it flat. So, right there. So now the spar is in position. And I'm just going to use the roller. Get my roller pretty wet. And I can just go like that on one end. I mean, I'm using the other end, so so just make sure it's wet. And it's okay if you have extra resin right now. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay? Because you're going to do a little trick later on. So right here, this is a doubler that goes on the root. Okay. And there it goes. So as you can see, this is not complicated stuff. It's really pretty simple. Even Len can do this, so.
I'm not convinced.
All right, so here you go, back with the roller. I'm gonna make this, just wet it out good. Make sure it's nice and wet. What you don't want a dry spot, because if you have a dry spot, man, I mean, you are asking for it. And I also have another reinforcement here on where the flaps, where the control horn is gonna go. It's also unidirectional. This goes from the front to the back. Okay. So just make sure that everything is wet. Give it a little extra everywhere, kind of.
Look at that, not a piece of balsa anywhere.
Boom. All right. So right now, with the exterior is pretty much done, except for the last. And here's where the trick is in play. Comes in. Take paper towels. You fold them over like this. All right. Put them down and put a lot of pressure on them. Just get on top of it. Just put a lot of pressure on it. So what I'm doing right now, I'm sucking up all the excess resin that's in there. And this is one nice thing about the this resin I'm using, because it's very very fluid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if you can see this.
I saw it. Yeah, I saw
Oh,
the
yeah.
epoxy.
That is phenomenal. Wow.
So and if you look at this right now, you can tell the difference. Can you tell the difference where it was blotted and where it's not blotted? You can see it right here. You see the line?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. Wow, what a difference. Look at that.
So you take a lot of resin now. There's another trick to doing this. And give me a second. It's if you use just use a hard roller. This is just a hard roller. This can be a piece of wood, a round wood for all you care. And you just go like this and push it down like that. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get more resin out of there. I'm gonna do the same thing here. So even if you put a little bit of extra resin in there, no big deal, because you're just gonna take it all out. All you care is just everything is wet. And I'm just gonna flip this over. And I think I disturbed the fibers here a little bit. I'm just gonna move them back in place. Yeah. And yeah, and this feels pretty dry to the hair. No, it's almost like, feels like, hey, this is not gonna glue, it's gonna be weird or whatever, you know. Trust me, there's plenty of stuff in there to glue on. All right, so now this is that. These are the pieces that I have prepped for the, this is a raw cell on one side, and on the other side I have fiberglass. And right now this roller is relatively dry, okay? So I'm just gonna use just that. Let me put this on the side. Here we go. And right now I'm using the light, and I'm looking in the reflection of the light, and I can tell when the fiberglass is wet. And I just want to get it wet, that's all. And you can see it right away. And you don't want to put a lot of it, because this one you cannot really blot it out like we did the other side. So, but you want to make sure it's wet, kind of like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, what happens here, I had like a little crack in here.
Yeah.
Over there. So, oh well, whatever. I'm just gonna give it a little, just maybe a little bit of extra resin, just right there where the crack is. Just going to glue it back in. It's not gonna be noticeable at all. So that's that. So that's one. All right, so I'm gonna do the other side. And note, like this is very dry. So if it's too wet, what you wanna do, you wanna pick up some paper towels and you wanna roll them. If you see it, if you see a lot of resin coming out, you have too much resin in here
Wow.
on a roller. You want it super dry. I mean, you almost want to just put a lot of pressure here with this roller to make it release some resin in there. So this way you don't put a lot of excess resin, just enough for what has to be done, okay?
Right.
All right. All right, and this guy is done. All right, so as far as I'm concerned, everything is wet. Now I have to put it in a vacuum bag, right? So let me move you over to this side.
Set up a new thing where you can bring in your
And,
old shirts and they're gonna recycle them.
Oh, yeah? You bring it in. When do you bring it in?
Okay.
I'm gonna bring
So-
all of my old ones.
Hang on, I'm gonna turn the volume off here.
Guy goes here.
Uh-huh.
I have a piece for the trailing edge. I need to brush it up a little bit. I mean, I could probably just leave it as is, but I like to give it a little extra resin in there. Let me put this stuff on the side. Oh, my brush is right here. So this is gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be in here. There you go, some like this. All right.
That material there in your hand, what is that, Tryon?
Huh?
What material is that you're holding? That
It's
you're
just
brushing?
foam, raw cell.
Raw cell, okay.
So the thing is, like, this Roja cell is going to suck up a lot of resin. If you, even though it's a closed cell, it has like different, I mean, some little bit of space between the cells in there.
Mm-hmm.
So here you go. This is going to go on my like this here. Boom. Makes sense?
Yeah.
And now this is going to butt against it, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. One more. What did I do with it? Have I lost my head? Because I just put it here.
Yeah, I saw both of them earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's to your left.
All right, let me look on the table here, because I know I just had it ready.
Yeah, I remember you did them
Oh.
both. You did one at a time and you placed one down and then you did the second one.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Okay, no big deal. It's not a big deal. I'll find it eventually. Use it on the next part.
Well, I thought you meant the bigger sheet of roller cell. I was thinking about the other one. I wasn't thinking about that small piece you have right now. But...
Yeah. Oh well, you know, just all right. So this is for the leading edge of the elevator.
All right.
And you know, I'm gonna do the joining sometime over the weekend, and I'm gonna save it for Friday when we meet. I'm gonna pull them out of the mold.
All righty.
Maybe there'll be a cool, I don't know, something you might be interested in seeing.
Yeah, well, it's probably the future. The way balsa wood's getting so hard to get.
Yeah. So I'm kind of, what I'm doing, I'm squeezing it a little bit, you know. It's not gonna really stay there. So you can see this stuff is very flimsy. It's kind of just floating over there. And that's fine. And here we go. This is gonna be this side. All right. And I guess I'm ready. I'm ready to get in a vacuum bag. Let me put this on top of this here. And this is something I kind of borrowed from Wendy Warnowski, this garage kind of thing. He calls the garage method. I don't know why, but
Put it in the garage.
yeah, just put it in the garage. The idea is just it keeps the bag away from your part. So you can slide the part in and you can move this over and nothing is touching your piece over there. It doesn't disturb the stuff, right?
Mhm.
And once I'm kind of happy, but I'm not ready for it yet. It's going to be soon enough. What I want to do before I take it out, I want to put this tape in place so it's ready. This is how I close my bags. Kind of the way I like to do it. There you go. Okay. All right. And I'm going to turn on the pump. I'm going to make some noise. So I hope you excuse me. All right, here we go. Out you come. It's going to come down. I'm going to fold this over. The tape. Hopefully I get a decent seal. Okay. And my pump has a faucet in here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna bring the bag. I'm just gonna push stuff together in here. See, kind of bring it together like that. Open this. Stop. It's not completely sealed right now, but I can move things slowly, get them in position a little bit better, a little bit more. Okay. Want this in. Here you go. So vacuum is on. And if I have a little crease in there, that's not a big deal. It's not a deal breaker at all. Okay.
Wow, it's really interesting.
So
Wow.
and obviously the vacuum is going to hold everything in place, hopefully. Now there's another trick that you want to do here, and it's right here around the trailing edge and the top. What you want to do, you want to get a hard roller and flatten it. You smoosh it a little bit, right?
Okay.
So it's going to just push the roller cell just kind of flat and even with the top, right? And also on the trailing edge, you want to do a little bit of that, like that. So I'm also pushing with my nails in here, trying to get it down in there in this little space, because when I close the two halves, I want them to be I want to have some epoxy in there with just going to be epoxy with with micro balloons, lots of micro balloons in there. So right here. So actually I'm crushing the raw cell right now, but just over here a little bit. And I'm also checking out this edge here. Make sure this edge is good. And that looks good. All right. So, okay, this kind of concludes the
Wow.
how to, and I'm going to check my seal again. Make sure I'm having my seal done. Pretty good. And this is a good vacuum right here that I have. Okay, guys. So.
Wow, that's nice. So how long do you keep it in that state? Until tomorrow?
Huh?
So how long does it stay in that state? For 24 hours?
I'm sorry. Give me a second, Charles. Let me turn up the volume and put this on the side. Okay, I can hear you now.
So I'll say, how long does that need to set before it cures?
In 6 hours, I think it's going to be pretty set. About 6 hours from now.
Okay.
But I'm just going to let it stay there with a pump until I come back tomorrow. And the pump is not exactly that noisy.
No, I don't hear it.
You don't hear it?
No, I just hear you.
Oh, that's good then.
Yeah.
See, the pump is right there. Can you see it down there?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the pump right there.
Nice. I've never even seen a vacuum pump working in composite situations. That's pretty cool.
So, okay. So it's quick and dirty. So
Yeah.
the idea is that if you make your molds, making a part after that is very easy and very quick.
Yeah.
And what did it take? Make 20 minutes to do this?
Something like that. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
So
It
it goes pretty quick.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. Thank you very much for showing us that. Thank you very much. Really good.
Yeah. Now, if I'm really fanatic, what I can do, I can put all my parts, all my long parts in one side, and I can brush them all at one time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that part is done quickly, right? So then I can do the other stuff and just it goes like even faster. Right now, I was kind of showing and talking and all the stuff, so that adds to you lose focus a little bit, and yeah, but that's it. It's as hard as that.
Does anybody have any questions? Well, very good. Let me catch up on the chat box. I'm behind. So Dennis supplied me his last name. It's CHLARSON, Charlison or Charlarson, something like that, Charlison. And then Dennis, he goes on to say, if the line drag is less, angle where lines meet airplane is less, nose and out force at the plane is greater. Has anyone noticed this? You want me to repeat that? If line drag is less, angle where lines meet airplane is less, nose and out force at plane is greater. Has anyone noticed this?
Sounds like he's talking about when you change the line size, it's not using this. We were talking about the other day about using spectrum and stuff like that.
I couldn't hear. I only got half of what you're saying.
The other day we were talking about using the spectra and using smaller diameters, presumably with less line drag. I guess that's where it would come in. And I'll just say, so far with the spectra I've used, I've noticed that I have adjusted the wingtip weight, but I have not adjusted any of my lead out positions at all. How about you, Len? Have you changed your line rake at all, or just tip
Well,
weight?
I haven't done anything yet, but I just got some lighter spectra, so I'm dying to try it out. I got some 65-pound test, so I'm excited to try that. Just got it this week.
I'm going to break down and get some too.
Well, I think everybody's going to probably start going to this. I was going to put in an order for some steel lines this month, but I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to wait because I have a feeling there's a possibility I might not be needing much more of it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the Spectra idea, like huge, because I used it for a whole year. I have only one set of lines made up right now, and I used those from May until last week. No problems with them whatsoever. I mean, except that they were draggy because they were too heavy. But in terms of any problems with fraying or breaking or anything or stretching or anything, nothing. they're bulletproof. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I've ordered some more too, some lighter weight stuff.
Yeah.
and trying to get the Max Quattro, which is I'm having a devil of a time finding that. The
Okay.
regular Power Pro isn't too bad.
Yeah.
But, and then I'm planning on using some 40-pound. I've ordered some 50-pound to replace
Okay.
my 65 that I had been using on the smaller stuff.
Okay.
Actually, kind of in some cases, I'm actually looking at could be getting into a diminishing return. I think it was like a 1,000th diameter difference between the 40-pound and the 50-pound, and it's like,
Yeah. Now you start saying, well, I might as well go with the 50-pound.
well, that's
Exactly.
it. Get that, and what I'm looking at is, I don't know that I want a box of line for every single airplane in the lineup. You know what I mean? Get
No,
something
exactly. It
that's,
gets ridiculous.
yeah, you get something for the big airplanes, something for the classics and old timers and stuff like that. Maybe something for certainly something for the half A's.
Yeah.
And then try to keep it simple. So
Yeah. That makes sense.
mhm.
So let me continue on. Microgal says, what size is that equal to in a glow engine? He's referring to the setup you held up, Dennis.
That's the motor is a Brodak 2826. It will run comfortably with a 12-inch prop, right? Like a 12.6 or something like that. So, or maybe what people are running LA 46s is what, 12.4s or 12.3.5s or something
Yeah.
like that. So in my mind, it's on the order of a 46 or 50 size, something like that.
Cool.
And weight wise, it's about that ballpark too. Yeah, but for me, I always come back, and people talk about conversions for electric. To me, it always comes back to what size prop are you trying to turn? What are you trying to thrust? All right.
Yeah.
And no matter what, and rather than say, well, this equals that many cubic inches, well, that's a 12-inch prop, and wherever you're using a 12-inch prop.
Like a 51. Yeah.
Yeah.
Runs around like a 51. That's friggin' awesome.
Yeah. So,
Like a 40, like generally with a 46, I'm usually running about 11.5 roughly, something in that neighborhood. So maybe a little smaller,
Mhm. Yeah, I've used the 12.6 on it. I would normally use an 11 or 12-inch prop on this. I'd consider the 12 would be a max.
Yeah.
I know there are some people who run 13s on it, and it just doesn't strike me as being a good idea.
No.
Place for the motor or anything. But
And then go ahead. I thought you guys had finished. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So then,
Go ahead, Charles.
then some guy in Sandy, that's his name. He says,
Some guy, let's see.
sweet triple beam scale. So he likes your scale there, Tryon. Hey, Dick. Thank you. Welcome back.
Hey, we done.
Hey, Dick.
howdy, welcome back.
And we got Dan Winship in the house, and he says, great job on the stab, Tryon.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, thanks a lot, man.
Getting
Thanks
that
a lot, guys.
from
Yeah.
Dan. That's pretty
The
impressive.
triple beam is good because you can set it to the finish dimension, finish weight, and you just pour it until you balance it out. Then you're done. If you have a digital one, it's very hard to have some depth perception, how fast you're approaching your target or something like that. You can overshoot very easy with that. So that's what this is my weapon of choice.
And that's for mixing the epoxy?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, because the
Any of
epoxy
those
has
in
to
the
be mixed
sediment
up very
before,
precise. Ask me how I know
Uh,
that.
That's right.
yeah, that's how we all learn. School of Hard Knocks. Life gives you the test first and the answer second. So Mike Rigel goes on to say, I was thinking about building a profile with a 51 engine size, and I was planning on setting it up for electric.
Sounds good.
And then some guy in Sandy says, yep, mechanical scales literally rule. Yeah, I have a mechanical triple beam. I just haven't used it very much. When the epoxies I'm doing aren't as precise as you need, like for composite work. So I have used it, but I don't use it very often.
Well, most of the time when I
Right,
mix
here you go. So
epoxy,
this is
I'm
what I
mixing
do.
up about that much. So it's
Yeah.
hard to weigh it.
So I need, I want to mix 20 grams of epoxy. So right now I'm pouring about 18 of them. See how it moves up? Okay,
Yeah.
now I'm going to go to the 20 mark. And I can slow down. So up to this point, I could go pretty quickly, right? And now, just slowly, there it comes. One more drop. That's it, right there. 20. So now I need to go to 28. Actually, I'll go 27 or so, 26. And there's a method to my madness here. This is my, recognize this guy? So
No, I don't
what
recognize
I'm doing, I'm just pouring it in like that slowly. I'm just gonna wait for it to start to lift. I'm still 2 grams shy of the mark, so I'm just trying to be careful. Like this. All right, it's moving, right? Now I'm gonna move it to 28, what I need. And here you go. I can use the dropper now.
Oh, very cool.
And this is the best way that I could, I learned how to mix this stuff relatively quickly and really easy, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, few more drops. Needs a little bit more. So I'm being very, very precise because this is very important. This resin is very good if you do it right. And then, guys, if you're really fanatic, check this out.
Wow. I was wondering what that drill was for.
This is just a cylinder.
Okay.
Okay. And
wow. That's a little bit better than my popsicle stick.
Yeah, mine too.
What resin are you using? I just got here.
it's
Hey,
MGS.
Howard.
It's MGS epoxy. And you can find it at Aircraft Spruce. It's very, very thin, very easy to use. It penetrates very easily into the fibers and everything like that because of the low viscosity. This would be something great to use on the nose if you put fabric on the nose of your built up plane.
How does it compare to EPON 815?
Better.
Sorry?
Better and harder. And it doesn't need post cure either. You don't have to post cure this.
Hey, groovy. Thank you.
So,
MGS something.
so I think, yeah. And then I just use a towel, wipe it down.
That's just a cylinder? Is there
Just a
slits in it?
cylinder, yeah.
Are there slits in it or holes in it?
No slits, no holes, nothing.
I don't see how the cylinder is mixing it up.
Yeah, it does it very well, quite. And it doesn't make bubbles inside. It keeps your resin without bubbles, which sometimes it's an issue.
When to eat your heart out.
What?
You said Wendy eat your heart out.
Yeah.
You know what?
Oh
I was
my
watching
God.
some of Wendy's videos. Do you guys know? I think Wendy made a video with the IC motors tuning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have that
did
video.
lots of them. Yeah.
I'm looking for it everywhere on YouTube, and I cannot find it in my life depending on it.
Yeah, I had not seen it on YouTube either. I loaded up, I uploaded the prop one. If you want the engine tuning one up there, maybe I can load up the engine tuning, the one I have.
Yeah. The reason for this is because when I go back to the country, what I would like to do is I would like to do some presentations over there to share some information with them to, like Wendy said,
Right.
have people build better planes, better motor runs, better everything.
Oh, absolutely. Motor
More
run
fun in the
is so
competition.
important.
Yeah.
Hey, Howard and hey, Mike Lonky, thanks for coming in, you guys.
What's up, man?
Thanks, Dick.
I had a visitor yesterday.
It's all on YouTube. Yeah.
And Phil, hi, Phil.
I saw that.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Doing well. So who visited you, Mike?
So Joey Matheson from Las Vegas. Does anybody know Joey? He's a speed guy. He's
Yeah, jet flyer.
a jet guy and a racing guy and speed guy. And he flies fast jet. He flies the super crazy Dynajet stuff. But he had contacted me a few months ago and told me he was going to be driving from Vegas to Virginia over a couple-week period because he just stopped at the Dallas contest, the speed contest there last week. And then he was going to be in Nashville for a few days because he has a convention here for his job. So he's here for 3 days at the Opryland Convention Center. And he got in early yesterday morning and had a free day all the way. So he called me up and said, hey, man, can we get together and, maybe do some flying or do something? I got the day off. And I was like, yeah, come on down. We'll figure it out. So he drove down to my house and we decided actually to spend a day shooting. Joey had never shot a gun before in his life. So I took him to my gun club and I taught him how to shoot skeet. He was shooting shotguns and busting clay pigeons, and then turned him loose on a few pistols, a couple of handguns, and the AR-15. He was very excited about that. He had a fun time shooting, and then we came back to the house and we flew some half-A combat planes in the backyard because we were running out of time. We didn't have time to load up airplanes and go to the flying field, so we just dug out some half-A combat stuff. He put a couple flights up, and then he launched for me and Sam. And Sam and I flew some matches, a couple matches in the backyard, and I'll be damned if the little turd didn't kill me about a minute and a half into the first match. Because we haven't touched any half-A combat stuff since the Nats. That was the last time we even looked at an airplane. So, but it was fun. It was cool to see Joey. I mean, I know him from the Nats. That's where I've met him before on the jet circle at the Nats, and it was cool to spend a day with him and have a little fun. Spread a few freedom seeds and flew some half-A combat. So it was a good time.
Very cool.
Sounds neat.
How you feeling, Phil? You doing anything with airplanes or?
No, I haven't done anything. I got all my stuff in, was gonna work on it and just haven't. But I do have a question. A few weeks ago, y'all mentioned these Xuron cutters for cutting wire. I have a feeling these are too small. They're 2193F. Is that big enough to cut our clips?
The ones that you were talking about, I saw only cut up to 60 thousandths wire. So
that's what I thought.
They wouldn't do 16th. But for clips, we use typically 50,000 stainless.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I need 50,000 stainless.
So I didn't get one because for that money, I'd want it to be able to cut 16 music wire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to send them back because I think they're too small.
Yeah.
I want to get something that'll cut that stainless, and that stuff is hard.
Yeah. You said 2193. I'm trying to find my notes. Maybe it's 3193F. Is that an F?
I don't know, but if anybody finds out, let me know and I'll send these back and get the right ones.
Is that the ones Howard recommended? Because I wrote that.
No, the one that
Brent Williams.
Yes,
Brent Williams. That sounds right. Yeah.
Okay, because Howard found another set and he gave us a number too. I wrote that one down, but it's out in the shop.
And how much was that one?
I don't remember. I don't remember
one that
how much.
Brent recommended is like $31.
Now these right at that 29 something.
Okay.
But if you find out which one, the number of the ones that will cut the stainless that we need, the 50,000, let me know and I'll order a set.
because none of the guys locally have anything to cut it worth a flip. But I got these in the mail today, and I opened them up and said, no, there's no way. There's no way that's going to work.
Yeah, it
Seems like we're all hot to making those clips.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well,
I've been trying to
everybody's
get a hold of Jim Lee, but I can't get him to answer the phone. I keep calling him and I get no answer. I
Well,
just
it's
get a
probably my
recording.
fault.
I haven't got Jim the last 2 times I've tried to call either, so I don't know what to tell you there.
It's probably my fault, you guys. I have butt dialed him at least 3 or 4 times, so he's probably not answering the phone anymore.
Charles, we gonna see that SV11 or what? What's the deal?
Oh well, yeah. I mean, this is just what I did yesterday, a couple of days ago. I made myself big so you can see it better. I made an access hatch for the KR timer, and so it just goes in that spot there and snaps in there.
Nice.
Very good.
So
Jim Lee,
Charles.
Jim Lee's on vacation for 3
oh,
weeks.
that explains it.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. That's good. Now
You
I know.
betcha.
I wonder how he got his boss to let him take 3 weeks off after taking a week off for the Nats.
He's probably been there a long time.
Lila must be getting soft.
I have a question for you guys. Maybe you might know. I have a push rod from Tom Morris, and I was just curious. What does he? Is that just dental floss that he puts on the?
That's what it looks like. I have some too.
What
That's
kind of
what
glue
it looks
is
like.
it? What kind of glue would it be? Would it be
The glue is he used the one he made me. I saw him make it. He used a JB Weld, and then the clear glue is epoxy.
Oh, okay. So some like dental floss and an epoxy. Okay. So I'm gonna make up some push rods for this SV11. So I just wasn't sure what that was.
Yeah, he does not like CA glue at all.
No, he does not like CA glue.
That man does not like CA glue at all.
But I thought it was just on places where he needs to sand for the finish, but I didn't know he doesn't like it anywhere.
No, he likes white glue. I've started using. Yes, I converted. I bought a bottle of that stuff Bob Hunt was talking about, Tight Bond 3, and it sands. It sands like balsa wood. I mean, you can tell you hit something a little harder. It feels like you hit a piece of hard balsa, but it doesn't feel like you hit white glue. White glue, when you hit white glue, it's time to grab the file. And this stuff sands pretty good with just 400 sandpaper.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to use up my other Type Bond 2 before I buy any Type Bond 3.
Yeah.
I got some Type Bond and Type Bond 2.
Yeah, I went and bought this. I sprung for the 3, and it works. It does work very well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still using the 2 as well, Charles.
Okay.
Well, I've still got a half a gallon of the darn stuff, but
oh wow.
Well, I do regular woodworking too, so if I ever get around to building the table that I'm getting the stuff together for it.
You'll get through it.
Oh yeah, we'll use it up because I do a lot of putting wood together, especially the dissimilar woods. I love to turn stuff on the lathe. Yep. That's my thing, and I have turned some really wicked looking stuff. Everybody says,
I'm sorry.
How in the devil do you put cherry, walnut, oak, and pine together? Well, it's really not pine. It's now I can't even think of the name of it, but anyway, it wasn't pine. I don't even bother putting pine on the lathe. It's just too soft. That's a waste of time.
No, I cannot. I have everything with epoxy here as well.
Let me read the chat because we have a message from Gerald Wimmer. It says, hello, Charles and everyone else. Thanks, Tryan, for your vacuum molding demonstration. Spectra 30, 65, and 80 pound does most models for us. Only use steel when contests require us to now. So there's another one that's pretty much for all intent and purposes is using the spider wire. Is that right?
No,
not
Spectra.
spider wire.
No spider
Spectra.
wire.
No spider
Don't
wire.
use spider
I
wire.
might have said that. That way we can correct people. It's Spectra lines. So that's all
If
he's
you
using.
ever, if y'all ever take a look at the lines, and you really look at the lines, you won't even think about using spider wire again. Spider wire is flat wound.
Okay.
In other words, it's shaped like that.
Yeah, it's a waste
And when
of
it
time.
gets in the wind, it tries to turn sideways and it tries to turn back. It tries to turn side, and it ends up looking about that big around going through the air. You
Wow.
won't do it but once. You won't do it but once. It's real good for what it was made for, cutting through the weeds and all fishing. But for our purposes, flying, no, you don't want
Useless.
spider wire. You get this Quattro.
Well, Howard has a question. Go ahead, Howard.
You,
Oh, you're muted, Howard. Howard, you
Howard,
got to
you're
unmute your
muted.
mic. You're muted. Howard, you're muted, Howard. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. You're muted.
Well, son of a gun.
Oh, there you
Here
go.
I
Now
am.
start all over.
There we go.
I dropped out, so you may have the answer to this already. I looked up Xuron on Amazon, and the 2193 is only good to 40 thousandths wire. The 2193F is good to 50 thousandths wire.
Okay.
That's what
So-
I've got.
Yeah, neither one of those. Well, I wouldn't get either one of those because I would be able to cut 16th with it anyhow. But they make shears for cutting Kevlar. So that's a way to cut Kevlar. Okay.
But
I'll
have you
go
found
with
any
it.
that'll cut the 1/16?
I didn't look beyond that.
Okay. I'll take
Rebel
a
wheel.
look tomorrow.
I wonder, maybe Brent was mistaken. So, Brent, if you're listening, give us the correct one because you made it sound like it was the best thing since sliced bread. And I thought I wrote down 21. I can't find my notes from last time.
My notes say 2193F. That's what I wrote down.
Okay.
Yeah, I
That's what
think
I'm
that's
looking
the
at right
one.
here.
It's good to 50 thousandths wire, which is lovely for the 50 thousandths stainless wire that you use for this clip.
Oh,
Okay.
John, I hate you right now.
hey, pizza party.
I haven't had solid food since yesterday morning.
What's
What's the
going
matter?
on? Oh, you had that MRI?
No,
Colonoscopy. Brent.
I'm having a procedure tomorrow, so I'm still on my fast and my cleanse.
Yeah, showing the
I'll be
picture.
thinking about you as I eat this.
Yeah, my tummy's growling pretty bad right now, man.
Oh my God,
that's-
it's killing you.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. I'm gonna go have big steak dinner tomorrow about lunchtime. So
Yeah, sounds good.
as soon as I get out of there, straight to Longhorn Steakhouse, man. Wife's gonna buy me a steak. She don't know it yet, but she is.
You'll be surprised how
don't know
your
it
gut
yet.
reacts to that heavy meal too. So.
Yeah. Yeah, really. Well, I hate to sound redundant because it sounds like he's been showing, but Tran has a plane coming.
Brian has what?
Muted.
He gave us a whole tutorial on how he molds and bags his parts, and it looks like he's setting up another one. So
Yeah,
He's
he's
into
probably-
bagging
does a
and
good
holding
job.
back, so.
he's probably kind of busy right now.
Yeah. I found a good use for old credit cards. If y'all like vectors and SB11 ARFs,
Mhm.
you know how the top of it, when you put the batteries in and you put that door on top, an old credit card cut down just a little bit on each side at the front will just fit on top of your battery inside those two lips where the fuselage sides come up, and it's got that piece of plywood in there. It'll just fit under this side and then under this side, and you put some foam rubber under the credit card, glue it to the bottom of the credit card where you have to press it in, and it'll sit right there against the top. I'm hoping that's enough to hold the battery in. That's what I'm going to try because it's a lot lighter than what I was trying to use. I had a piece that went in and keyed back and locked, but the whole apparatus, when I got it all together and ready to go in the plane, I looked at it and I said, my gosh, that thing's going to be heavy. So I came up with this thing. I said, well, I don't think it'll come out, but if it does, if that comes out, it's going to have to hit something, because it's pretty solid once you get the battery in it and get this. I mean, you got to press it to get it in there, and then it wedges in place. And you just slide it forward, what it'll go. And it won't go far. And that battery's not coming out of there. For it to break, the fuselage sides are going to break too. So you're going to have to hit something to knock
Are
it
you
out.
also using Velcro or anything else?
I'm also using the Velcro, but I don't like it. The Velcro let go one time is how I lost the airplane. It was flying in the wind, and I made the top turn in a square 8, and the last turn, the very last thinking turn. And I said, well, didn't remember seeing that bird. I thought it hit a bird because I saw something going, and it looked like it was, and it was actually the cover and the battery had come out.
Oh man. Now is that a top mount compartment?
Yeah, it was a top mount. I don't like top mounts. I like side mounts.
Yeah, this SV11 is a side mount, so it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. All my new ones are going to be side mounts. If I have to do it, it's going to be a side mount.
Yeah,
that's a much better system. The centrifugal force don't bother that, but top mounts, a lot of the guys now that are using the top mounts are also bolting them in with 440s or something like that. And that's fine. That's fine. I just don't want to do all that. I think that's
what you're describing here, Philip, is with the Velcro strap. I think the act of mechanically compressing the Velcro just a little bit is a
I pushed it down pretty good.
That's a good redundant right there too. So
well, I thought it was, but it came apart. So
you're counting on the
I got some new Velcro that's really, really good stuff, but it's not long enough. So I'm going to have to go buy some Velcro and have either my wife or my daughter. They both are very good with a sewing machine. I'll have to get one of them to make me a Velcro strap that will fit. But no, I pressed it down, and I thought I had it pressed down real good. And the irony of it is, I told my grandson, I just don't feel right about this flight. Something just doesn't feel right. And he says, well, let's don't do it. And I said, let's go ahead and do it. What the heck? And because I like flying in the wind, I like blowing people's minds. And I went out and flew, and everything was going great till I got to the square 8s. Last turn in the square 8, and then battery went away. I said, well, that's not good.
Yeah,
and then of course you're coming down and coming right into the wind, and it just no nose weight. It just blew back at me.
Hey Phil, you gotta listen to your second brain, that gut instinct. That's your second brain.
Yeah,
listen to it. So many times I regretted not listening to my second brain. My gut.
We went.
I knew it wasn't going to work, or I knew this was not. I just felt it in my being, and I was like, I just ignored it and went on, and I learned to regret it.
Yeah, I had. I don't do it. I don't listen to it a lot when it's myself. We went to a race, and I said, I don't feel right about this. Just put it on the trailer. Put it on the trailer. And we got home and found out that a shock mount had broke, and not a shock mount, a sway bar mount had broken. And had we run, we probably would have lost the car. And then turned around and didn't listen to it on the model airplane and lost my model airplane. So anyway, one of them things. So you're right. I need to learn to listen to my gut feeling, but I didn't that time, and it cost me.
Yeah.
So
I try to listen to my gut. I've regretted each time I don't listen to it.
Well, me too. Me too.
Yeah, I was
once in a great while.
John Miller was listening to his gut when he tried.
I was at VSC, and I was flying someone else's plane, and I said, I just don't feel right. I just don't. Something tells me I just don't. He goes, no, I want you to fly this plane. I want you to fly this plane. So I'm flying it, and then he goes, go ahead and do the maneuvers. I was just flying at level, and I started maneuvers. An engine cut out, and then I landed the plane on the rudder, knocked the rudder off. And then the same individual goes, man, I shouldn't let you fly that plane. I don't know what else.
Oh, brother. Oh, that just floors me. That just kills me.
I say go for broke. Go for broke all the time. Fortune favors the bold, man.
Yeah, I was just like,
And you know what? It's only a model airplane. It's not like it's a car. It's not like a brand new car or something that you smashed up. It's a bloody model airplane. Relax.
Yeah. I'll tell you
Oh
what.
my! He wanted you to
You
do
get
it.
just
He wanted me to do it because
Yeah. Oh my
I mean, we was
God.
trying to start it and it would run and it would stop and it happened once or twice. And I said, I just don't have peace. I just don't feel, I just don't have peace about this. Now go and fly, it'll be all right.
Then you crash it. Gee, I shouldn't have let you fly it. Nice. That's just beautiful. That's classic. Oh man. Oh boy.
well, stuff happens is all I can tell you. Stuff happens. We had one fly one bar in an airplane and he brought it over the top and he comes down the backside and he comes down the plane, says ka-wham. He yanks it. Plane's already hit the ground and bounced and he yanks it back. It didn't turn. I'm sitting there. Don't mean no harm, but you should have been pulling down for the reverse wing over, not up. And you should have done it before it bounced off the ground. So anyway.
Usually more effective that way. Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Action and real.
Yeah, the plane wouldn't turn. Plane didn't turn.
I got to remember that one.
I get tickled.
Can you fix this?
I can try.
He knocked it off the wall.
Oh no. My terrorist is at it again.
The corner. Just the corner.
Oh, good grief. We busted that one.
Don't leave any money out for your dog.
It hit the floor.
I can try, but there ain't much I can do with that. It's busted the fire out of it.
All right. When you get back, go ahead and unmute your mic. I muted your mic, Phil.
Oh man. It didn't turn.
My terrorist is at it again. Lord have mercy. I'm telling you what, he's a fun little dog most of the time, but about 10% of the time, he is a terrorist. Anyway, are y'all as sick of the Liberty Mutual commercials as I am?
I don't watch TV, so I'm not.
That one word.
All of them?
I don't know. I'm so tired of hearing that thing. It's just got one word in it, and they just keep repeating it. It drives me out of my mind. I hate songs that repeat the same line 4 or 5 times. Anyway, Lord of mercy. Did anybody go flying this weekend?
No.
Michael looks like he's having a rough time.
I
We
think
may have
so.
lost Mike there. Mike, you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine, man. My stomach's just growl a little bit, and things.
Yeah, that'll do that.
I'm watching John eat a pizza.
2.
Oh, wait.
Hey,
your friends are.
Charles, I think you're going to have to block John's video too.
What's
It's
John
making
doing?
me hungry.
That's
Well,
it.
John's
Making
still
me
eating.
hungry, and I ate hours ago.
That's it.
Hey, so Dick, what you been up to, Dick? You been doing anything in the machine shop, or what you been doing? Anything with engines, or?
Yeah, not much. Just did that one for Steve. And other than that, no. Just we've been playing with cars in the Kalamazoo where we fly. It's a paved circle. So I build an electric powered ducted fan, and we run it at 58 feet, and the thing goes 70 miles an hour. It's fun to play with.
Tether car, Dick?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
I was going to get it. Oh, cool. When I go to Wood and Arrows, they have a tether track there. I've only seen tether cars run once. Let me make you
look at
big.
that.
Come on, Dick.
Oh, look at that.
That's cool.
Got a 3-inch ducted fan on the back.
Nice.
Wow, Dick, that is
Wow.
cool.
It is pretty slick. Biggest problem I've seen guys have with RC cars is they have too much steering in them.
It's not RC, it's tether, I think.
Yeah, I know
it's
that one
tether
is,
car.
but yeah, that one's a tether car.
This
but
one's kind
we
of
have-
fun too.
Oh Lord, look at that.
Look at that.
Got a Rossi
Wow.
15 in it.
Yeah.
What prop is
goodness.
that?
I was going to say,
Remember that?
Goodness.
Are those scooter wheels? Are those Razor scooter wheels?
Yeah, inline skate wheels.
Inline skate. Yeah. Okay. Right on.
Nice.
You can
Ball
buy them on
bearing,
eBay.
urethane.
$8. 8 of them for $12 with bearings.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just bought new bearings for I'm looking for new bearings for my bicycle, but I just bought new bearings for a fishing reel, a Morum SX fishing reel. $46, 2 bearings.
Yeah.
Good grief. That's ridiculous. Oh, I don't know why I got them. I hadn't been fishing in 6 months. So I don't know what the heck I'm doing all this work on fishing equipment for.
Hey, thanks Dave, for showing us that. I have a
Good
comment.
Boca bearings.
That's well, I get Bocas for my model airplane motors. That's about all I use when I replace in the model. But for the bikes and the fishing reels, you'd be surprised. These ceramic bearings, you'd be surprised how much slicker they are.
Oh yeah, they're expensive, but they're good.
Oh yeah, but they are slick. I got a guy that weighs a good bit less than I weigh, and we start at the top of the hill, and you just push forward enough to get rolling where you can stand upright, and then see who gets to the bottom of the hill first. And man, I've always beat him. And he put ceramic bearings in his, and I can't begin to keep up with him now. So I bought a set and put in the fishing reel to see if they do anything in that, and they make a big difference. So I'm going to order a set for the bike. I'm a little hard-headed. You got to show me. I was born in Missouri, and I have to go along with the Missouri guys. I'm a Missouri mule myself, and you got to show me.
Yeah.
Henry offered ceramic bearings in the last batch of Nelson 36s, but he was only charging like $10 more for the motor.
Good gosh, he was giving you the bearings in.
Yeah,
he wasn't making nothing on the bearings, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was a $10 option the last time he did it.
It was worth it.
Did you go for it?
No, I didn't. I didn't buy a Nelson on the last one. I bought one on the previous run that's still in the bag. I got 8. I mean, Christ, how many do you need?
You don't need him. You
That's
got
4
enough
for me.
Nelsons.
That's 4 for me and 4 for Sam. That's a lifetime's worth, you know?
Yep.
And I've got a couple of piston and liners. And I did buy a case from the last run. Ronnie Colombo and I both bought cases, spare cases. So.
Yeah.
Interrupt. I have someone in the chat box. Dennis, he says, thanks again for helping a newbie. Have a 43-inch Magician down to 28 ounces. Has 5, I guess he's done 5 outside loops. And all is repaired and just waiting for the weather. Yeah, that sounds great, Dennis. Keep up the good work. Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't believe I couldn't spray today because it was too cool.
Too cool?
I got up this morning, there was mist everywhere. I said, my goodness.
Okay.
I said, well, can't spray like this, that's for sure. But I'm going to try to get that Ringmaster finished this week and then get busy on that paint job on that Humongous. It's flat out ready to paint. But I got to get the blue and the yellow on it so I can get it finished up. And wow. When you get everything together and finally figure out what you're doing, then the dadgum weather don't cooperate. Oh, well, anyway.
I don't think we're going to have too many more flying days here either.
No.
Turned the furnace on today and built a fire.
I did too.
So I think we'll probably get a few decent days, but you know, November's right around the corner, and that's the end for us normally. So it'll be building season. No more flying.
I usually refuse to put a jacket on until November 1st, but I'm in a flannel shirt, but I almost had to reach for a jacket today. It got chilly out there this morning. I was out walking the dog and looked at my watch. It's 56 degrees. Ooh. I wasn't ready for that. I don't know.
We got flying last week in shorts and a t-shirt. It was 56 degrees when we got out there.
Well, Benny, we ought to Denny, we ought to be flying in shorts and a t-shirt here in a couple of weeks. I'm hoping to be flying in shorts and a t-shirt next weekend.
Well, I
but-
hope so. I'm going to ask for my instrument back. So,
Yep,
Yeah.
should be.
Well, when you guys go out to Vegas, you better be. I mean, that's
Yeah.
if it's not cool, if it's not warm out there, something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Should be. Well, you guys, I'm going to get ready to end the stream. So I got to work on this SV11 and get this thing done. So I'm not going to be in the after party because I got to get this plane done. But we've had a good show. We've had as many as 31 people watching us on YouTube. We have 19 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. And don't forget to join. You can join the YouTube memberships. It's just $4.99 a month, and that helps Sparky with the expenses. And we had some comments out there in the chat box, and we had a donation of $5 in the super chat. Don't forget the super chat's there. You can make a donation, and that'd be really appreciated. And that donation was from Jack Snavely. So thank you, Jack Snavely. Appreciate it very much. And we'll be back Friday. I'm not going to be doing any flying, so hopefully people in the audience or you guys can go out there and fly and come back and tell me all about it. I'll be hopefully have more progress. Actually, by Friday, hopefully I'm thinking about finishing the plane. I know John is going to have his SV11 done by Friday.
I'll try.
I'm going to shoot for that myself. And so maybe we'll show some SV11s on Friday.
All right.
So with that being said, I wish you everybody good night. Be safe. And I will see you again Friday. And with that being said, so long. Goodbye.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Get back to
Take
work,
care,
Charles.
everybody.
At the